Sanchez.
Well, 40 years ago, the very first wish from the Make-A-Wish Foundation was granted. Now the organization has helped make dreams come true for more than 520,000 kids worldwide. On tonight's UnPHILtered, Make-A-Wish co-founder Linda Pauling explains how the foundation got its start. Linda, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate you taking some time. I know you're pretty busy, but for the folks at home who maybe aren't aware of the story behind all that you've done, tell us about your son, Chris.
Okay, Chris was diagnosed with leukemia when he was 4.5. He passed away when he was 7. During those 3 years, police officers were put into our path for good reason. One of those officers was U.S. Customs Agent Tom Austin. And during that 3 years, he kind of said, I'm going to make Chris a promise. One of these days, we're going to get him a ride in a real police helicopter. But we're not going to tell him just yet. We're going to save it for when it gets closer to the end here. So in mid-April of 1980, I had Chris in the hospital, and Paul, really, his doctor, didn't think he was going to make it through there. But that morning, when I woke up beside his bed, he was eating breakfast, watching TV, waiting for me to wake up so we could go to the toy room and play. Paul walks in and truly expected to find him in a coma. He said, I want to keep him one more day. If he's like this tomorrow, take him home. Call me when you need me. Next morning, I took him home. I made a phone call to Tom Austin. I said, Tommy, if there's any way possible to call in that promise, now is the time. Yeah. He had worked undercover with the Department of Public Safety, the Arizona Highway Patrol, and one of the officers he worked most with was Ron Cox. Ronnie knew all about Chris from 3 years of playing desert rats and catching the bad guys. So Tom made a phone call to Ronnie. Ronnie started calling. They called the air rescue. Asked the guys they could give this little guy a ride, a show and tell. And I believe it was Doc Holliday who came back on the speakerphone and said, no, we're going to give him a ride thing, and I don't care who knows about it. So that's exactly what happened. Ronnie got a couple other officers involved and got to thinking, I may have just overstepped my pay grade here a little bit. So he called the PR person for the department, Sergeant Alan Schmidt. Alan said, Ron, it's okay. Don't you worry about it. Alan called Doc and said, look, there's going to be a little boy at Scottsdale Memorial Hospital. I need you to stop by there and pick him up in the helicopter. And by the way, just stuff some papers in an envelope and then fly him and the little boy over here to the compound area. That is exactly what happened. There were patrol cars waiting for Chris when he landed, motorcycles. Chris had a field day being shown all through the department. The following day, actually, we rested. Colonel Schaefer had made him an honorary high patrolman.
Wow.
The first in the history of Arizona. Swore him in, badge and everything. And these little cowboy boots walking all over the desktop in white papers and important papers. But they kind of dubbed him the little bubblegum trooper because Chris loved bubblegum and was constantly blowing big bubbles through this whole day. On May 1st, they delivered a custom-made uniform to the house. And the badge on it actually had him all dressed up. Chris wouldn't ride on the motorcycle with the officer because it had no doors. I guess doors were very important to Chris. So he went in and got his little three-wheeled, battery-powered police motorcycle that we had bought to take the place of his wheelchair. And I'm scooting out the front door and circling all these guys, big tough guys, and guns on their hips. And I never saw so many big men cry and laugh at the same time.
I can imagine. And from there, Make-A-Wish was born.
It was. It really was. When I returned from the funeral, we got together, the guys and I, and we said, there's more kids out there. Let's go find them. We started an organization, Make-A-Wish, and it's simple. All the money we collect goes for a wish.
And thank you for joining us.